Taylor Swift.
Swift.
Ish.
What just happened?
Oh, we are live. We're going. Hi, everyone. This is Ashley.
And this is Shelby.
And welcome back to another episode of Swiftish podcast. This is our second episode that we have recorded and successfully have, hopefully, fingers crossed, edited.
Yeah.
It's fun. It gives me some self-doubt because I'm the one who's I'm finally putting in some work on this podcast and I am doing the video editing for it. And
yes, it looks great. The teasers I've seen.
Okay,
I haven't been able to watch a full one.
Don't hold your breath. But we're, you guys will be able to see us how we interact with each other when I get distracted and I'm playing with my hair. You'll see all that.
On the bed behind me.
Luke is on the bed behind you. And one thing that we're doing, we were thinking of, do we want to do a YouTube page? Do we want to do just separate little clips? And we're, YouTube page is scary to me because everyone who is anyone can come and troll you. And I have bad self-esteem, y'all. Bad.
My skin is very thin. Let's just say that.
Yeah, my skin is very wrinkly. Let's just say that. I can't take it. So what we've decided to do is to create a Patreon page.
Yay!
You guys, this
so
is
fun.
Who's going to want to pay to listen to us? No, to look at us ramble. So this is what we're doing. We're doing right now, we might go like a third tier, but we're doing 2 tiers. We're doing tier 1, level 1 is Club Olivia. If you guys know what Club Olivia means, you're Swifties. And this is just basically like $3 a month to join our Discord page.
Yes.
And in our Discord page, it's a private chat. You can talk to us. Like it's going to be like a group chat with everyone who listens. To Swiftish, and we're all going to get kind of talk about, like what's going on, like direct like feedback and live like reactions from all of our listeners. And also you guys will be able to have a little input on maybe what we're going to do in our next episode, bonus clips that'll just be on for Patreon users who on the tier 2, which is Club Meredith, because I feel like Meredith is a little more secluded. We don't see a lot of her, in person, live.
Yeah, and she doesn't get enough love, so.
And that's how I feel we are. You don't really see us live. We're not really like recording ourselves talking to you. Yeah. So Club Meredith is going to be $5 a month, and you'll see this. If you're paying, you'll see us live, well, not live, recorded. And I'm going to do something, maybe if it's not too distracting, I'm going to put just the raw footage, because you kind of see on the podcast, clip and edit it where I mess up, where I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Because I mess up a
where the
lot.
dogs bark.
So I'm just, and it's going to be easier for me just to upload and not to edit it. But if there's anything like I have to run out of the room because my dogs are attacking each other, I'll edit that out.
I'll entertain them, obviously.
Yes, exactly. And then
one woman show.
You will. It'll be just a Shelby show.
Yeah.
And then I think what we'll do too for those Meredith levels is we do all these Instagram giveaways on Instagram, but people like follow us and unfollow us, and it's just like a numbers game. So I'll probably just move my giveaways over to Club Meredith. It's not going to be like every day, but it'll be then. And you'll get.
Well, that's what's fun about Patreon is it's not so much like, oh, give us money, we want money. It's like it allows us to connect with our listeners more easily, more meaningfully. We can have these sort of dialogues. We can share more about our process and our thoughts. Like, right? That's what people want, right?
And also,
we're socially challenged after COVID, so we just need any interaction we can. So we figured, let's do Patreon.
Yeah, let's do Patreon. And one thing that's really good with Patreon, we've been doing this for 4 years, but we'll be able to upload it faster. So maybe, depending on technical difficulties, you'll get the episode maybe a week earlier, maybe a few days earlier. This episode, if you join a Patreon, is going to be released a week earlier.
Yes.
Which is going to be exciting because Taylor Swift is releasing tomorrow, Fearless, Taylor's edition, and we're going to be recording this weekend with, and I'm so excited about this, Holy Swift. So, and then Taylor oh, go ahead. Sorry. I interrupted you.
Our other Taylor Swift podcast. We're taking You Need to Calm Down to heart, and we realized we all have crowns. So we're going to share the spotlight and get to finally interact with other podcasters as obsessed with Taylor as we are.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's, they definitely have a different vibe than us. So I'm excited to learn more about them, what kind of sandwiches they like. I guess they talk about sandwiches a lot. So that'll be fun. And so the reason why we're releasing this earlier on our Patreon page is because Taylor rocked our worlds yesterday. Shelby, what did she do?
Oh my gosh. So we woke up. It was just your typical Wednesday morning. And she just released another vault song from Fearless. So she gave us Mr. Perfectly Fine, which is exciting. I was like very taken aback and immediately obviously listened to it and then tried to figure out, was this one like You All Over Me, which had been heard before, which did have a demo track out there you could listen to. And I don't think so. Like, I haven't been able to find anything that, like, people knew the title somehow. I don't know how. But even on this, like, let's just say I have access to a file of, like, unreleased songs, maybe. Nothing's confirmed. But even in that, it wasn't, like, listed in anything. So this was like a new experience for all of Swifties, which I think was exciting and kind of gave another taste of what we can expect from Fearless, Taylor's version. So where were you when this happened?
I was in bed. I tried to get up early, but I had a really late night the night before, and I was sleeping. And then I woke up and I was peeing on the toilet and I was, doing what we all do in the early morning, peeing and looking at my social media page.
Checking in,
And I was like, what? Mr. Perfectly Fine? Like, we knew we were getting Mr. Perfectly Fine. We knew like that was going to be released. We didn't know it was going to be released on a Wednesday morning.
No, it was totally random and got twittering and Instagram. I think it rose in the iTunes charts fairly quickly. It was trending. Like, it was a big moment, and I think speaks again to the genius of Taylor's marketing. That she even bothered with this is interesting, because it is like the album comes out tonight, like Thursday midnight, and so it's sort of like, wow, why give us more? But also, of course, she did, because now people are more interested, and it was a new song in a way that You All Over Me wasn't. So I think it enticed even more people to be like, wow, this is going to be interesting to see how she revisits her past self, but also re-energizes this whole album. So, I mean, that's how I felt. I was very excited.
Well, I loved the post that she put, because it was very very snarky and funny and Taylor Swift. She said, me in 2020. Life is chill, writing songs based on and fiction to avoid drama, feeling pretty grown up. My 2008 music from the vault in a goblin voice. And I kind of got this from like, in my mind, it was more from like the Lord of the Rings. Please, Mr. Perfectly Fine. Or please, release Mr. Perfectly Fine. Yeah, you guys.
Exactly. Yeah, though that's a perfect impression of 2008 Taylor Goblin's
What is it?
voice.
Like the My Precious from Lord of the Rings?
I think you're nailing it, honestly. I'm not even going to attempt, because, like, why? I can't fight with perfection.
I said, please, Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Same. But no, I mean, it was exciting. And then, what was your reaction to the song? How did you feel about it?
Oh my gosh, I loved it because it was so snarky and passive aggressive, like the Taylor Swift people wrote about back then. Like, oh, she's only like writing about her exes and she's only like dissing her exes. And it was such a great song. I loved it. Like Mr. Perfectly Fine, you get that sense from the first start. Like, oh, this guy's just okay. Like, he's just okay.
Yeah, it's like our generation's oh no, what's the one? See, this is why I prefer audio, because I can just edit this long pause out as my brain just totally goes blank.
But you can.
But
for people who aren't Patreon listeners, they're not seeing this.
The song that they sing in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is not how I should know it, but you think this song is about you.
Oh, you're so vain. You're so vain.
Thank you. Obviously.
That you think the
I
song
knew if I
is
started,
about you.
Yeah. See, you're braver than me, because I knew if I started singing it, I'd get it instantly. But I was like, I'm not singing this live. That's not happening.
Well, I always attempt to sing on here.
Yeah,
and then
it's great.
It's one reason I don't like listening to the podcast because I
inspiring.
hear my voice.
No, I mean, this is one that was Jack Antonoff produced it. Some of his bandmates from Bleachers performed on it. It's a solo written Taylor track.
Mhm.
And so that's different from You All Over Me as well. This kind of feels like it was written later than You All Over Me, which had sort of that early Taylor vibe, whereas this feels more in line with what we were to expect on Speak Now.
Mhm.
And so it makes sense then that everyone kind of surmised that this is about Joe Jonas, who she dated in the summer of 2008, right before Fearless came out.
Yep.
And I think she played into that as well with her announcement where she's like, me in 2020, I write about fiction to avoid drama, versus me in 2008. Here's the song that I know will get headlines, that I know people will figure out is about my ex. Like, I know this is a high profile relationship that you're going to revisit. And on top of that, it seems like she probably gave Joe Jonas a heads up because Sophie Turner, his wife, got on Instagram and shared it and was like, well, it's not a bop, which I think is the perfect response and kind of shows the fun of this song being released now is that everyone's in a happy, healthy place. It's all just like totally fine. But she's like, I'm going to throw this grenade in, but it'll be fun to like revisit our teenage angst, right? Like we're all chill with this, right?
Oh, yeah. And then I loved how Taylor Swift like reposted it and she was like, hey, Queen of the North. It's like they were planning this. And I bet when she sent them the baby blanket, she had a little note being like, oh, by the way, I'm releasing a song on this day. Sorry? Not sorry.
Like, sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
Love you forever.
Yeah. I think it's fun. And I think that's sort of what is what's exciting about these old songs is that we're able to have that experience of like, OMG, who's this about? Oh my gosh, look at these parallels, look at this, look at that. But it's also like low stakes. Like it doesn't matter. No one's happiness is at stake. It's all just, it's like revisiting your old diaries and laughing about how like embarrassing it is to see how much you cared about X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. I like never want anyone ever to read my old diaries. I still have them, but please do not.
No, that's coming to Patreon level 15.
You want to know what? That's actually, if people want to listen to, I will read my old journal diaries to you guys.
Special bonus episode coming.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. I don't think you have to feel obligated to share your diary entries.
They're really funny. They're not as cool as Taylor's, but they're funny.
Yeah, no, she had a moment. But before we get into the song, Fearless is coming out. I guess by the time this airs, it will have already been out. But some of the fun that's been building up is, she was on GMA and she did a little pre-recording and shared a clip of Fearless, the track. So fun. But she also seemed to have given permission to Olivia Rodrigo and Conan Gray to tease a couple of the songs because on TikTok, they made some videos using the new You Belong With Me track and White Horse. So interest is growing. People are excited. I think it'll be really fun, like to be online tomorrow and to just see how people react to everything.
What do you think is going on? Like, do you think Taylor and Olivia are going to collab on a song? Because she's really using them to really do a lot of promotion for their music. Do you think that she just thinks that's the best way to get to the younger audience because Olivia's so like in touch with them? Or do you think that like this is like just like a great relationship and they're just excited? I mean, I think that there has to be some ulterior motive to her doing that.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I feel like I could see them collabing, but I don't know if it's been in the works yet. I feel like what happened seems like Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift probably had no idea who she was until Driver's License came out and she talked about how big of a fan she was. And I think that, obviously it's inspiring to feel like you inspired someone. So I'm sure she was touched by that and thus reached out about Red and all the re-recordings and has probably now been more in touch. So I do feel like it's more like a mentorship that's happening than some sort of I'll help a quid pro quo quite not
a business deal, like a friendship, a blossoming mentorship.
And I think it's like because these are both, like, Conan Gray has also spoken about what an inspiration Taylor is. And so I don't think it's like in an egomaniacal way where she's like, I shall only interact with people who kiss my ring.
And I wasn't, or kiss the little ring she sends you. And I wasn't thinking of that. I was just wondering, like, a business move behind it. Like,
right.
She's smart.
Yeah. Well, because I think, we've seen her try to use the TikTok crowd with the man star. I'm not in TikTok, so I don't remember who it is, but she was like the biggest TikTok star.
There were a few of TikTok stars.
Addison, I don't remember, but I feel like she tried that and it wasn't as authentic feeling. Whereas here, she's like, "Oh, you guys are fans. Like that feels at home to me. I know how to interact with fans. I know what to expect from fans, and so you can have fun with this material I'm giving you, and I'm excited to see how that helps you, how it helps me. But I think it definitely helps that they're both actual like." Swifties. Outspoken fans.
Do you think that she'll ever get a Twitter? Because we have like Lizzo who not Twitter, a TikTok. We have Lizzo who has a TikTok. We have all these different like stars who have TikToks. Will Taylor ever get a TikTok? And if she does, will it just like implode that app and it'll just crash?
I cannot picture her on TikTok. I think her strength is in the written word, and she knows that. And I feel like she likes not that you obviously can edit TikToks and like take your time with them, but I feel like it's more about being funny in the moment and clever and like creative in that way.
There are so
many.
I
feel like she's more on Tumblr and Twitter type.
So like on like, we see these candid videos of her for Easter and like just interacting with her family and just doing all these weird things. I would love to see that Taylor, not the Taylor who's like, hey, let's do a dance. Let me edit. I would just want her to like
that would be amazing.
Do the love story challenge. I don't know, just like the quirky weird things. Like I would totally watch that. But she probably 100%. Just doesn't care. I mean, I get it. It's Taylor. But I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with that decision.
Yeah. It's like, I think she could be good at it because she's good at everything. Yeah. But I don't feel like she's drawn to it. Like, I don't imagine Taylor's on TikTok hanging out. Like, I think that's why she was never on Snapchat either, because she's just like, I don't know. I don't think she vibes on that, like, visual medium as much.
Taylor Nation's trying to get in on it. Definitely.
Oh, are they?
They have a TikTok account where like,
cute.
Oh, go on TikTok and do this challenge, and I think they'll like repost it to Twitter. I don't really interact with them. I did one reel on Instagram and I put it on my TikTok too.
Yeah, it's iconic.
But I don't know. I don't know anything about TikTok. I'm not cool
You're
enough.
killing it. You're doing so good. You're the young one here. You're keeping us youthful.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm the young
You're like
here.
basically Gen Z, Ashley. Okay.
Maybe like 15 years in the past. If I was 15 years younger, I'd be Gen Z. I'm like on the outs.
Yes, that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay. What's your birthday? Not birthday, but 1991. Okay. Mm-hmm. I saw this TikTok that said that kids these days are referring to the 1990s as the late 19th century. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I'm an 86 baby. I'm like, oh my gosh, the late 1900s? No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's us. We're ancient. But it's okay. Senior Swifties unite. That's our core
I don't know.
Core group, I guess. But I'm excited to break this down. I feel like it'll be fun. It's kind of a fun song because she really just rips him apart.
My dog.
It's iconic.
Okay.
Is your dog hanging out?
Yeah, so I'm in my little like upstairs office area. My dogs have to be with me. They have to. If they don't, they'll be scratching at the door or they'll be barking at each other. And so right now I have Pablo licking my feet and rolling on the ground, making really weird noises.
Cute.
I know.
Well, if you want to take a shot at reading, Mr. Perfectly Fine, I think it's your turn.
Is it my turn to read? I get really nervous about reading on camera now. Just because I'm not the best. I'm not the best at this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start reading Mr. Perfectly Fine. Let's get into it. This is Taylor's second song released from the vault. Let's go. Verse 1. Mr. Perfect Faced, Mr. Here to Stay, Mr. Looked Me in the Eye and told me you would never go away. Everything was right. Mr. I've been waiting for you all my life. Mr. Every single day until the end, I'll be by your side.
Yeah. I mean, this is a fun song because it's kind of like that classic mix of country and pop. And it also has kind of that rock edge you get in Story of Us. And I guess that's the only one I can think of. But you definitely have that kind of energy to it. But it's also so fun to hear Taylor Swift now revisiting a song like this because it's kind of like it feels so much more grown up and polished than I think it would have at the time in like 2008. Like this feels like a song that you could have conceivably seen on something like, I mean, not 1989 as in, you know, it's a little more synth on that album, but I feel like it does have this sort of musical edge to it that probably would have been buried with a lot of over countrifying on an album like Fearless. So it's just like fun to hear her voice come through so clear and so like confident as she sings these reprises of how he's just kind of been a dick who's lied to her from every step of the way.
Who led her on.
Yeah.
One thing that I liked about this song is that, you know, it hits differently because instead of fans coming out of like, say she did release this in 2008 or say like something happened with her current relationship right now and she released this like currently, you know, fans aren't going to go and like, you know, hate on Sophie and go hate on Joe Jonas. Like they're not going to like be out and try to like, you know, kill them,
destroy.
It's kind of just funny to hear her, who she's in such like a healthy relationship, a mature relationship, sing about like this song that she wrote back then, like Mr. Perfect Face, Mr. Here to Stay. Like it's so ironic and just I really like it because it doesn't really hit as raw as it would if she would have released it.
Yeah. Well, and she already has like, it's interesting to kind of figure out why this was left in the vault, like why she chose not to include it. And you see similarities between the lyrics here and what you get on The Story of Us. Like even with Looked Me in the Eye and Told Me You'd Never Go Away is almost a direct line in Story of Us where she sings, you looked me in the eye and told me you loved me. And I feel like, you know,
Forever and Always too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is that I get those confused. I'm such a bad Swiftie.
No, it's fine.
That's so the one I'm talking about. Yeah. It's Forever and Always.
And it's on the same album too.
Yes.
Like that, and a lot of people are saying like, and we know this is about Forever and Always is about Joe Jonas. Like that's what everyone has hypothesized. And a lot of people are like, oh, this song can't be about Joe Jonas because like he dumped her right before this album came out, so there's no way. And I was like, I get what you're saying, but first of all, Forever and Always is on here. And second of all, Taylor has been known to write a song in like a day. Like because she's taken us through all of her song processes. Like I'm like, no. So which one would you rather have? Forever and Always or 100%. Mr. Perfectly Fine? Because I feel like Mr. Perfectly Fine is kind of like the sassy, sarcastic, passive aggressive version of Forever and Always.
Yeah, no, Forever and Always is 100,000,000,000% the stronger song. Yep. And I really do like this song.
Oh, me too.
But in revisiting, like, would I cut anything off of Fearless for this? I don't think off the standard album I would. I think she has a really compact album there that works thematically, and I think this song would have felt too much like Tell Me Why at the time, because I think if she sang this when she was in 2008, it would have had a lot more of that, like, I don't want to say whiny, but you know, like sort of that like, oh, type of how dare you childishness. Whereas here it feels a lot more like side eye, but like I'm over it. So like you have to sit here and feel it type thing. But in the moment it would have had that, tell me why you did this to me. Like, how dare you? You hurt me. Like, and I don't think it would have felt as like strong or likable. Whereas now there's a lot more strength to her voice and there's a lot more distance to the story that allows it to feel a lot more mature and kind of palatable. Whereas I think Forever and Always does a great job of bordering that snarky side, but also having that strength and that power and that oomph to it too.
Okay, if you had a gun to your head though, and
okay.
not looking at like thematically and how like the album grows and tells a story like it usually does. What's one song that you if you had
would cut Change so hard.
Change.
That song is like cutting room floor stuff for me.
These things will change. Isn't that like her song to her fans?
Yes, I get it, but I just think it's really cheesy and corny, and it was used as an Olympic like album march. You know, it's like oh go team type thing, and it just feels like it feels a little bit like okay, like let's calm down. You know,
you need to calm down. You need
What about you?
It would have to be between Steven and Change.
Oh yeah.
I like Steven, but I was like, if I have to, because I like it. I like the album as it is. Like you said, like nothing needs to get taken off. I can't imagine switching in and out.
Right.
But if I had to, it would be between these two.
Because it's interesting, like looking at Fearless, and I guess we'll get into this on the Fearless episode. But like, there's like 3 songs that are the same, which is like Tell Me Why, The Way I Loved You, Forever and Always. Like they all have sort of the same narrative. But I'd rather keep all those 3 repetitive sort of styles than mix in this and have it feel too much like Forever and Always. And
it'll be interesting when we do hear all the songs that are going to be released. Other like I think 3 or 4 songs that we haven't listened to.
Oh yeah, the deluxe. Yeah,
we'll have to revisit. Like, do we want? Would we rather this in for that? We'll have to talk about that
a swap mart.
Yeah, with the other Swift podcast. Holy Swift. Okay, I'm just rambling. Let's go on.
We're good.
Let's pre-chorus and then into the chorus. But that was when I got to know Mr. Change of Heart. Mr. leaves me alone, I fall apart. It takes everything in me just to get up each day, but it's wonderful to see you that way. Hello, Mr. Perfectly Fine. How's your heart after breaking mine? I can't read. Mr. Always at the right place at the right time, baby. Hello, Mr. Casually Cruel. Mr. Everything revolves around you. I've been Miss Misery since your goodbye, and you're Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Yes. It's really clever how she wrote this. Like, I mean, she just tells a whole story while each line is just a snarky attack on his character. It's like she could have sat there and written a verse that was like, oh, this is how it played out. This is what happened. And then used the Mr. Perfectly Fine in the chorus or something. But it's like every line, it's just, this is you and you suck and I hate you and this is why. And it's just like very old school Taylor in a very fun way.
And you're fine. And I'm breaking my heart. You could care less that I'm crying right now. Like, like you're cruel. You're cruel. Yeah. So hello, Mr. Casually Cruel.
Yes.
That line.
Iconic.
Yes. So Taylor has said in the past that she's had lines written down and she's used them in like in other songs, or she has like something written down like I'm gonna use this in a future song. And here we have an example of how she does this. And this is another reason why, you know, at first, like when I asked people who they thought the song was about, we had 2 responses. Jake Gyllenhaal was the first response because people, as soon as they heard Mr. Casually Cruel, they just went straight for Jake. And they went straight for Jake because of All Too Well, Casually Cruel, and the name of being honest. But if this is true to timeline, people like they overstep the fact that this was
that's years to come.
I was like, that's like 4 years in the future. That's when Taylor's going to be writing All Too Well. And so I totally get that. But there are still people out there who are like, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. But this line.
Yeah. I think it's very clever. I think she knows how clever she is, right? And so she writes this idea, this pairing, which is a fun term, Casually Cruel. It captures an essence of like the F-boys. It's like F-boy before we knew F-boy was a term. And I feel like she sat on that and was able to revisit how that felt, but then make it 10 times more heartbreaking and All Too Well. Because here she's just like, kind of flippant. She's like, Mr. Casually Cruel, and it's like whatever, loser, double loser. Whereas you go to All Too Well and it's like, oh wow, that's like, that breaks your soul to hear her sing Casually Cruel in the name of being honest. because that just captures like a guy every woman probably knows, which is just oh, it's just such a smart lyric. So I'm glad she revisited it, and I'm glad she saved it for when she used it, because I think it ultimately fit in a stronger way when she found it again for All Too Well.
I love that she's just like backing up these like this idea that she has these ideas, and she uses them and she plays around with them, but if they don't fit, then they don't hit the mark. But this, like you said, Casually Cruel hits a little bit differently with All Too Well. And if she would have released a song and then released All Too Well, been like, oh yeah, like it still would have like been heartbreaking, but like it wouldn't be the first time we're hearing this song from her.
It would have been borrowed, and I think I can picture her, you know, she had to leave this on the cutting room floor, and she like looks through it and she's like, oh, but this is a good line. And she like bookmarks it for later.
Definitely.
Confidence, yeah.
So let's get into the verse 2. Mr. Never Told Me Why. Mr. Never Had to See Me Cry. Mr. Insincere Apology, so he doesn't look like the bad guy. He goes about his day, forgets he ever even heard my name. Well, I thought you might be different than the rest. I guessed you're all the same.
Yes, ooh. Queen. I love it. It's just like, it's boom, so, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's just like the moment Taylor's realized, like, wait, men are all trash. And she like put it into song, and I just, it's iconic. I love it.
I know.
And I feel like, again, she just eviscerates him. Like, oh, you didn't explain yourself. You apologized so that I had to be like gaslit about like, well, wait, should I like accept this? Like, what happened? Like, he's fine, but I'm not. How is that possible?
I'm sorry. It's okay.
Yeah. And so I love watching her process a relationship in real time. And that's how this song feels.
And I love that because she's, like you said, she's just like telling him like, this is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you do. And then the way she's doing it, Mr. It just, it's amazing. And then we go into the pre-chorus because I hear he's got his arm around a brand new girl. I've been picking up my heart. He's been picking up her. And I never got past what you put me through. But it's wonderful to see that it's never fazed you. And to the chorus, hello, Mr. Perfectly Fine. How's your heart breaking? How's your heart after breaking mine? Mr. Always at the right place at the right time, baby. Hello, Mr. Casually Cruel. Mr. Everything revolves around you. I've been Miss Misery since your goodbye, and you're perfectly fine.
Yes. It's good. It's fun to see like old Taylor come back. Like, I think her songwriting has only gotten stronger. And you see that in Evermore, Folklore. Like there's like a power there that has just been heightened and kind of exaggerated and strengthened. But looking at this early stuff, you still see how great she was at building a song, and you have all the details you need to have this very clear picture of a relationship, to the point that it's so easy to picture Joe Jonas in this role, even though we've never met Joe, we don't know him, but like teenage Joe Jonas was like the heartthrob.
He was.
I don't know. I've never gotten it, but
he's so good looking. I think out of
he's cute now.
All of his brothers. Yeah. I mean, back then he had that emo like yeah. I get that. Yeah. I was never like a Joe Bro or whatever it's called. I don't know if they call them. They're fans. I was never like super obsessed with them at all. But I thought he was the cutest out of all of them. I
think we were a little too old for them. Like they were coming into Disney Channel right as I was leaving it, basically.
Yep.
But no, it's like, it's fun to see her kind of have these instances of cleverness where she's like, oh, I've been picking up my heart, he's been picking up her. And it's that mirroring, and you see these techniques she continues to use through her career and continues to strengthen, and you just see the early phase here, and it's a lot of fun to break down.
Yeah. And what, when she sings about he has his arm around a brand new girl, like we know we know who it is. We know, it's, we can get that into the next album, but it's just kind of like, oh, I remember that song, Taylor. We all know who she is.
We know a little too much about how you thought about her, but
a little cringy. But we'll get into the third verse. So dignified in your well-pressed suit, so strategized, all eyes on you, sashay away to your seat. It's the best seat in the best room. Oh, he's so smug, Mr. Always Wins. So far above me in every sense, so far above feeling anything.
You have to sing that. You have to sing the key change.
Oh,
line.
yeah. You do not want to hear me sing at all. You got a snippet of my voice. You don't want to.
Well, this is actually the bridge, right? Like this is the structural.
The bridge. Yeah. It goes into the bridge, and it's really such a shame. It's such a shame because I was Miss Here to Stay. Now I'm Miss Gonna Be All Right someday. And someday, maybe you'll miss me. But by then, you'll be Mr. Too Late. I mean, this song was released a little bit too late because it's funny thinking back on like maybe there was a point where he was like, oh yeah, I want to go back with Taylor. But then, of course, you look at it now, she's in this healthy relationship. He's married with a baby. It's just No,
I think this is very much a tell on how Taylor like thought about heartbreak, thought about relationships. Yeah. And I don't think she's a mind reader. I don't think every time she sings, "Oh, you'll want me again," that's true. Like I think a lot of times the guys were happy to break up with her. You know, it happens. But I think this is how Taylor processes her pain. And we see this in You All Over Me. We see this in almost every track on Fearless. But she has to have that moment where she turns it around and she's like, you might have broken my heart, but you'll be brokenhearted in the end. You know what I mean? She has to, you know, your words bounce on me, but it sticks to you type thing. And I think that's her strategy every time, is that she has to have that uplift at the end where she's like, I'm going to be fine, but you'll regret this until the day you die.
But don't we, like, I don't know if you ever did it, even like when you were younger, had crushes, but don't we all do that? It's like, they're going to miss me. They're going to miss me when I'm gone. Like, no, like, bye.
Yeah,
and
100%.
It's really relatable. I don't know how many times I don't think I can get through one episode without saying Taylor Swift's not relatable. So
I mean, it is. Like, that's what's so fun, is that she is this like, there we go.
Take care of us. Okay, 1 second. You can entertain the fans while I am away.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to. Yeah. I mean, that's the life of a dog mom. So, talk about relatable. I don't.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I told a joke and, we gossiped for a minute, but it's fine.
What'd you say about me?
I said you're so relatable.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I know.
Just like Taylor.
Thank you.
But no, I think this is an interesting like build up and bridge. In that you have this picture of him, which is kind of funny to imagine Joe Jonas as a guy in a well pressed suit and All Eyes on You and Yeah, it's a
now,
2008. Yeah, 2008 style wasn't exactly a strong point for youths of Disney. But I also like this line, "Sashay away to your seat." I feel like this is proof that she's mixed it up on some lyrics. Like I think she's gone back and kind of reworded some things, because this is very much a RuPaul's Drag Race catchphrase that was not in the general, like I never used the word sachet in 2008. You know what I mean?
Sachet and dancing. I mean, I'm not a great dancer, but I use the word sachet like growing up just because of dancing. So it depends on like, I would be interested to see if she switched some lyrics up, because I think maybe she changed some stuff up, but yeah. So maybe I agree. It wasn't like it wasn't a common term. It wasn't like people are using it in like slang.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I think this like builds really interesting, where she's like so far above me in every sense, so far above feeling anything. And then you have that release where she's like, but it's too bad for him because I would have been there. I'm not anymore. I'll get over it. You might regret this. And I think that's kind of the closure we wanted from a Taylor track, a teenage Taylor who's singing about heartbreak we could all pretend to relate to, but also have that like moment where we're like, but we'll be okay. Okay. Well, this too shall pass. And it's like similar to what she does in White Horse, where she changes the tense and she's like, I found like a bigger place or whatever. And I feel like here she's like, she's still holding on to that snark and that sass, and she's not totally being 100% honest, but she's like, You're gonna miss me.
You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. That song.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we go into the chorus. Goodbye, Mr. Perfectly Fine. How's your heart after breaking mine? Mr. Always at the right place at the right time, baby. Goodbye, Mr. Casually Cruel. Mr. Everything revolves around you. I've been Miss Misery for the last time, and you're Mr. Perfectly Fine. You're perfectly fine. Mr. Looked me in the eye and told me you would never go away. You said you'd never go away.
Oh, so
But
sad.
he went away.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's telling that that's the line she kind of revisits with Forever and Always, which does feel like a more mature song than this. So I can imagine her writing this pretty raw after the breakup.
Mm-hmm.
But then Forever and Always is the one she manages to perfect when she realizes she wants like that banger and that heartbreak on her album. And I think you can see like why she's like, okay, well, I'll lose this song, but I'm going to keep this line because it's a good visual, a good tell, and it's a good look at what it is to love a teenage boy.
Oh gosh, is Joe younger than her?
I don't know. I feel like they're the same age, but I guess he must be a little bit younger. She loves the younger guys.
Let me see. How old is Joe Jonas? He is 31 years old, so he's older than she is.
Yeah.
So she was 19 when they dated. I think 19.
So far above her in every way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sashaying.
Yeah.
So did he really?
Yeah. I mean, strategizing with his purity ring that didn't mean nothing.
Nothing. Have you seen the South Park episode about that?
No.
Do you watch South Park?
No.
Okay, yeah, you're too far above South Park. They just do a funny episode about the Jonas Brothers and purity rings. It's kind of funny. I won't talk about it on here because, of course, South Park's a little risque.
I saw them talk about it on their documentary, which I did watch and I did enjoy.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
Yeah, but they talked about the pressure of that culture and how it didn't really feel authentic to Joe, especially. So, not that I think that's what she's referencing with her strategized remark, but it's what I remembered of the Joe Jonas days is that element of their image and the Disneyfication of the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. And all Disney stars in reality.
Yeah. Talk about toxic. But I think this was a fun song. I feel like it's one I'll revisit a lot. I was trying to think like, okay, rankings wise, how does this fit into Taylor's tracks? I don't know. Do you feel strongly about this? Like, is this a new favorite? Is it just fun for now?
I think that it's fun for now. I think I'll always like it. It might just be a song that I listen to when I listen to Fearless, because now that it's going to be a new Taylor Swift album, it might just be a part of, when I think about Fearless, it might just be there because Taylor, Shelby had asked, like we had said, we wanted to know what we're gonna do with all the other Vault songs is see like, are we cutting a song? Are we replacing it? And when I was listening through there, like Change of Course is like, yeah, and Hey Stephen's good, but I just can't imagine it being any other way because that's all I've known for the past 13 years. So it'll be 13 years. It's amazing that she chose the 13th mark of it, but I think that it just might be just the new, like it'll just be Fearless. It won't be like I'm like, oh, I need to replace something with it. But I like this one a lot. But
I like it more than You All Over Me. It's definitely more my jam. It's more that poppy like our song style country. The complete opposite of our song if you think about it, but has the same energy.
It's a breakup song.
Yeah.
So speaking of Maren Morris, we are getting another feature on, and maybe this can be the tea. I don't think it's really the tea
time.
It's just we've talked about this so much, and people might just be like, stop, picking a white horse when it's down. But she featured Maren Morris backup vocals, and then we have another one that she's going to be featuring with Keith Urban.
Yes,
but he's gonna have his own voice.
Verse,
it might be because his own verse because she opened up for him when he was on tour, and it means so much to her. But like you said, like a lot of all of her features on these albums have been men.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's
like
just
duets. Yeah.
duets. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like I could sit here and I can explain it away. I'm like, oh well, she writes love songs between a hetero relationship, so of course the person singing with her has to be a guy because that's like narratively what it is. Blah blah blah. Like fine, I get it, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when
I'm like, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Especially when she like is writing more fiction songs now.
Yeah.
Where like it definitely doesn't have to be about her, you know. And one thing that's so good about Taylor Swift's song, and there's all these songs that are queer anthems that she's released, and people will go to bat that Betty is a queer anthem song, is that no matter what your sexuality is or what you identify as, you can still identify with the song. And so that's just like something that's like, hey Taylor, like you like maybe that's something that's that bugs her, that people are always speculating about her sexuality. So she's like, no, I'm not gonna
give more fuel to the fire.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I feel like something like Bad Blood lends itself to a more natural duet style, but I don't think she would change I don't think she'll change any of her album tracks because she's trying to own the originals. You know what I mean?
She definitely. But then she's also doing like Love Story is getting the Elvira twist. So I wonder if she'll do that with other ones. And there's been so many speculations that her and Selena are going to collab together. So I wonder if they collab, will Selena get her own verse?
Yeah.
Will that?
Yeah, like I feel like you can see songs that, okay, I don't want her to change it now, but like something tonally like New Romantics or Bad Blood, like You Need to Calm Down. Like there's songs in her repertoire that could make sense with a female duet. And so she's capable of picturing that, of figuring out it and giving that space. But we just get these basic white boys singing about like going down with the Titanic, and I'm over it. Okay.
Something else. I thought you were like going where?
Ashley.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. So it's I think it'll be a good song. Like I'm sure it'll be a love song of some sort, and like it'll be like, of course it's a dude, but
an old dude.
Be a little bold, you know, Taylor. Like she once sang, like for one of her radio performances, she did a cover of a song, and she didn't change the pronouns. So she sang to. It was originally a boy singing about a girl, and she kept all the same pronouns, so it became a girl singing about a girl, and it was fine, and it was good, and it was no one cared. And I feel like it's the same idea with oh no, I lost my light.
Oh no.
But I feel like it's the same idea. So it's just like I wish she would. I hope she makes space for it eventually.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I think also a lot of us. I think some people are speculating so much about how she identifies that maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just too much, but who knows?
Well, let's do our questions.
Yes.
So, okay, the Taylor of it all. What do you think is the most Taylor Swift lyric in this song?
To me, I love I've been picking up my heart, he's been picking up her. I just like that. It's such like a show of where she's at that point when she's writing the song. But I like that one. What's yours?
I chose the Goodbye, Mr. Casually Cruel, because I think even she like recognized like I gotta revisit this.
Yeah, it's I mean that is very Taylor. You get an A+ on that one. A+.
Okay, well, what is your favorite the Easter egg hunt? What's your favorite Easter egg around this song?
Okay, so this definitely is not something that, you know, we all know this is about Joe Jonas, but you know, I'm not saying that, you know, well, I am saying she's revisited it, we think, kind of revisited and maybe put like her own little twist on it. And thematically, when you look up her relationship time, it is Joe Jonas. Joe Jonas fits a bill, like no questions asked. It is. Yes. But if you look at certain lines, it can be like a Coney Island of her past loves too. Like Mr. Looked Me in the Eye and Told Me He Would Never Go Away. Joe Jonas, of course. Mr. Everything Revolves Around You. John Mayer, duh. Mr. Casually Cruel. And that's also referencing Dear John in Everything Revolves Around You. And the first one is referencing Forever and Always. And then Mr. Casually Cruel, Jake Gyllenhaal, referencing All Too Well. And then another one I was thinking of, and just because I'm referencing a picture of Taylor Swift leaving a vacation very, very, very alone, is Mr. Leaves Me All Alone, Harry Styles.
Yes, iconic.
Yoshi agrees with me.
I mean, it's also like so far above me in every sense. I'm pretty sure Joe Jonas is her height. So, I mean, physically, he wasn't above her. So.
You know who could be so far above her in any other sense? And she's written maybe one song about
Taylor
him.
Lautner. No.
No. She's written maybe one song about him, and everyone gave us death threats.
Connor Kennedy. Oh, yes.
Calvin. Because so it goes. I'm just kind of thinking of like each album, what boy she dated, and what songs we think like that could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it. Don't quote me, but no. That's my Easter egg.
This is for our Patreon listeners. It's what happens in the Patreon stays in the Patreon.
Yes. So this is just my thinking.
I love it.
I mean, it's not. It's
love
not
a good Taylor.
It's not like sworn on a Bible, but I'm like, hey, I can kind of see it.
It's
Coney
fun.
Island.
Yeah. Easter eggs. 90% of them don't pan out, but they're still fun.
What's yours?
There were 5 holes in the fence, you know?
5 holes. 6 steps.
I love this one. This is very Taylor-esque to me. I think it was intentional because she's unhinged, as she admitted. There are 27 misters in this song lyrically. There's 27 times she says Mr. She describes Mr. And that is famously the length of the phone call it took Joe Jonas to break up with her.
So I saw that, and that was going to be my Easter egg, but I counted 28.
I don't know. I thought I counted 27. Maybe I looked at it wrong.
I did control find.
Well, you can't argue with that.
And
that's science, baby.
And because I saw someone tweet about the 27. But I'm like, I was like, okay. I was like, before I say this is my favorite Easter egg, I got to count it. So hold on. I'm doing a search find for it. That's
doing the math.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8.
Okay. You're probably right. If it checks out, then
I don't know. You guys prove me wrong. It's okay because I tried that too. But if that's right, 27 misters.
Yeah. Okay, well, what about a final score? What are you going to grade this?
Okay, I'm giving it a B+ because I love the passive aggressive Taylor and revisit to the country pop Taylor. I wouldn't give it an A, but a B+.
I'm giving it an A. I know. I probably will change my mind about that. Like, I think it's a new bias, but I feel like it does everything it meant to do. And I think she mastered the assignment. You know what I mean? She knew what she was doing.
I loved it. I'm going to stick by B+, but...
Yeah. Is it making the set list, though?
I would love for it to make the set list.
Yeah.
I would love for it to.
I think she could have some fun with it. I think... Yeah. I mean, it's hard because she has 180 songs at this point.
Yeah.
But so I think this is one that people are really into right now, and she could have fun blending it with some other songs.
Mm-hmm. It depends on what tour.
Yeah. The folklore tour, obviously.
Oh, yeah. The best of Taylor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Well, I'm glad we got to do this and get it out early to our new fans on Patreon.
And if you're listening to this recording a week after and we're talking about our Patreon fans, maybe you should decide to be a Patreon supporter. You know, we've been doing this for 4 years. We've put some money and some time and effort into it. We want to get to know you more. We would like for you to get to know us more too. And if you want to be a Patreon supporter, all you really have to do is go to our LinkedIn or our LinkedIn. We don't have a LinkedIn. Go to our Instagram page or our Twitter page and go to the link in the bio. That'll take you to a link tree where you can go and, go find us through that link and sign up for us.
Join the club. Yeah.
Or you can go to patreon.com/Swiftish podcast.
Ooh,
Yeah.
URL, so official. You can find us on Instagram at Swiftish Podcast or on Twitter at SwiftishPod13. We always love to see you all there. Obviously, anyone listening to us is our favorite person alive. So whether that's on Patreon or whether it's just through, your usual apps of choice, like, thank you. And we look forward to continuing to break down songs, especially as she continues to release these vault tracks, and who knows what albums are coming next. We will also be able to break down Fearless as a whole with Holy Swift this coming week. So look out for that episode. But until next time, I'm Shelby.
And I'm Ashley.
And Taylor, you're Mrs. Perfectly Fine. You're Mr. Perfectly Fine. You're the man.
Yeah, she's the man.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and for our Patreon viewers who are watching this now, thank you so much for supporting us. We will be back next week with a recorded episode.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
A young woman people can't stop talking